Hello, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Caffeine and Crypto. My name is Vega. This is SerpentX Tech, and we're just gonna have a chill stream today. Nothing too crazy. Basically, got a poll going on. I want to know what you guys are mining with, what kind of hardware you're using, as you guys continue to flock on in. The market's not really doing too much. Unfortunately. So I would just honestly just chill out and let's see here. My display went away for some reason, so let me put that back on. There we go. Um, it's just boring. It's just boring. Nothing really to write home about. Same thing I said last week. Just keep your head down, keep grinding, keep going from there. Gonna go over some news, but I'm really interested in what you guys are mining with. If you guys adapted, ASICs, FPGAs, what have you, mix GPU miners, sound off in the poll. And please ask any questions. If you want me to respond, you gotta at me or send a super chat. If you want my attention a little bit quicker, just at me. Otherwise, I'm gonna keep rocking and rolling. But you guys are running the show, so if you guys aren't popping them questions or comments out, then I'm not gonna be responding to them. So I will do my best to be more active in the chat. But crypto spot market August trading volume hits a 4.5-year low as volatility falls to spur activity. Volatility following Grayscale's court victory over the SEC failed to translate into trading volume, which it did. We had a nice little uptick up, but it just wasn't much, man. It wasn't much. And it feels like recently we just got pushed back again. I haven't been keeping up with the top of the line news, so to speak. But this recent uptick that we had right here, where we went from 25,697 to almost 26,500, just came right back down. So, yeah, nothing doing, at least right now. Still worried that we could fall. I mean, because we're kind of straddling this legacy line here at the 25K range. Still wondering, if there's enough bearish momentum to push us down even further. I really think that institutions that are waiting to get their ETFs approved, not gonna name names, are pushing or artificially keeping the price down on purpose, so that way they can continue to accumulate. They're going to do their best to try to control Bitcoin, but I don't think they understand Bitcoin. They obviously understand Bitcoin. They wouldn't be trying to create an ETF and have such a huge stake in it. But I don't think they understand that they can't really control it. They might be able to manipulate the price because they have the funds to do so. But once they unleash that genie from that bottle, it's going to be really hard to control. Like once that influx of capital comes in, there's more exposure via the ETFs or through the wider market. I think they're gonna release a genie that they didn't realize they couldn't control. But either way, I feel like we're being held down on purpose, so that way they can continue to accumulate. The only thing I can say is if you can accumulate as much as possible. But yeah, just not much popping off. Volatility is not crazy, but it's just no volume. So aggregate crypto spot and derivatives trading volume contracted 11.5% to 2.09 trillion in August. The low spot trading volume and fluctuation in derivatives open interest point to speculation-driven market. Binance retained the top spot in both segments despite dwindling market share, and their market share has been diminishing quite a lot lately. And good morning to you all for stopping. Thank you for stopping by. Monday it won't be boring because maybe XRP will hit 70 cents, says Monk Mode Mining 84. Maybe. Let's see where XRP is at right now. XRP right now is at 50 cents. So you're calling for 70 cents. Let's go out to the 1 month. We were at that 70-cent mark at the beginning of August, or around that 70-cent mark at the beginning of August into July, so maybe we could retrace back to that. Will it hit the all-time highs anytime soon? Probably not, but I mean, if XRP spurs some interest. That'd be good for that. I don't think it's going to lift the entire market with it, though. However, we'll see. So good morning as well to Hereby Service, Automatic Beats, 306 Miner. And we'll just have to see. But activity in the crypto spot market fell to its lowest level in more than 4 years this last month, extending a lull, which September is normally a meh month, right? It's normally a down month for crypto in general. So not much open interest there. Considering the win, so XRP got a win against the SEC. Grayscale's getting these are small battles, right? The war isn't done, but the battles are being won little by little, bit by bit, step by step. But there's just not much volume on these spot exchanges, derivatives exchanges, stuff like that. So we'll have to see what happens. And just to get this out of the way for some of my future viewers, we got about 13 days left on the GPU giveaway, which is linked in the description. I'm just giving away RTX 3060. If you're one of those people that could use the GPU to finish a build, maybe your son, your daughter, your mom, whatever, hopefully put it to good use, get some good gaming going on with it, 12 gigabytes of VRAM, but also mine on the side, or don't mine at all and just want to participate in folding at home, some compute workload, I'm all for it, as long as you can utilize it and put it to good use. This continuing decline in the market volume is creating a challenging environment for exchanges and the market makers who have been facing a tough time since the SBF FTX exchange went bust last November. The collapse dented investor confidence in the centralized exchanges and created market depth. According to Bloomberg, the profit margin of market makers has declined about 30% since that collapse. We have a quote here from, it looks like a report from CoinDesk, but the combined trading volume of spots and derivatives on centralized exchanges fell more than 11.5%. We already said that earlier. The low spot trading volume and fluctuation to open interest data suggests that the market is currently driven by speculation. It still is. Volume figures might have been worse had it not been for a brief volatility spike on August 17th. At the end of the month, Bitcoin, the leading cryptocurrency by market value, fell over 10% and to 25K on August 17th. Tracking risk aversion in traditional markets, the price briefly rose to 28K on August 29th. Cherishing the Grayscale legal victory against the SEC. Among exchanges, the Binance spot market share contracted on the 6th for 6 straight month to 38.5, the lowest since August 2022. Its share in derivatives dropped 53.5%, the weakest since June 2022. Still, the exchange retained a top spot according to 183 billion in spot trading volume and 865 billion in derivatives. Let's go look at the exchanges real quick. So spot, still at that top spot. And then derivatives, Bybit's climbing, but I mean the second place is just so far away. Dexes, oh wow, a Polygon protocol surpassed Uniswap. That's interesting. That's very interesting. Let's focus on Ethereum. Yep, Ethereum is still, or Uniswap still number one. PancakeSwap still number one for Binance. Arbitrum, Uniswap, ZK Sync, Pancake, Polygon. Oh no, what? That's sponsored? Because when I go to Polygon, interesting. I have not looked into this protocol or this DEX. Watch I try to connect to my wallet. What is this? I gotta check this out. This kind of reminds me of Binance almost. Get started, trade decentralized, lowest trading cost. Hereby Service says Nvidia is a gangster for putting 12 gigabytes on a 3060, but then they could have done it better for the 3070. Yeah. So the 3070 should have been 16 gigabytes. The 4060 Ti should have been 12 gigabytes. But unfortunately, yeah. AMD did good with their latest release. I don't know. I got to look into this exchange, but I like what AMD did with their latest release of GPUs. But we'll see how things pan out and if they get the memo. In contrast, Habu share in the global spot market has rose 2.26%, accounting for 6% of the total spot market volume. That made it the second largest centralized spot exchange by volume and derivatives. BitGet and Bybit saw their shares and total activity increase 8.6. So people are going. I saw, and I know some of these exchanges aren't available here in the United States, so it really just depends. And that's unfortunate because a lot of people here in the States or North America don't get a lot of options, right? Bittrex left. Kraken, I think, is still around. Coinbase, Gemini, but I really don't partake in Gemini. Like, not too many of these exchanges are Binance got Binance US, but they don't allow the exposure to all the various assets that one might want. However, if you're focusing on the top assets, then yeah, it will work just fine. So, all right, what's going on? Thank you for the raid. Make sure you go vote on the poll. Let me know what you guys are using as far as mining hardware, ASICs, GPUs, FPGAs, or a mix. Go vote in the polls for me. And if you guys just joined, don't forget that there is a Gleam.io giveaway linked in the description for the RTX 3060. The Bitcoin halving, I keep saying it, Max, I'm sorry. The Bitcoin halving is nice, but Kickstarter bull run requires fiat money supply growth. So I haven't even read this article, but obviously clearly from the title, what they're talking about is, everybody keeps calling for Bitcoin to hit new all-time highs after the halving. It's true. That's typically what happens. But there's no volume. There's no new funds, new money coming into the market. And that is definitely going to be needed in order for us to meet that potential. So, while bulls point to next year having as a catalyst, any sizable uptrend is likely to be a contingent on major central banks boosting their year-to-year M2 money supply growth rates, past data shows. The better crypto market awaits the Bitcoin's fourth mining reward halving, due on April 2024, or near that, somewhere in that month. Once you get closer, we get to get the more specifics on it, because it's going to happen on a specific block, in hopes that it would kickstart a major run higher, living up to its past reputation as a major bullish catalyst. Traders, however, should note that previous halvings did not necessarily catalyze bull runs single-handedly. Macro likely also played a significant role, mainly in the form of abundant fiat liquidity conditions, according to data tracked by Macro Micro. Reward halving refers to, we already know what a halving is, previous halvings, blah, blah, blah. The bear markets ran out of steam roughly 15 to 16 months before the next halving. Bitcoin's year-to-date gained 56% in 2023, marking a recovery from the depth of the past year's bear market. Is consistent with the timing of previous price bombs. Now, they say 15 to 16 months before the next halving. We're already in that range or below it, right? We got October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May. Like, we're already under the amount of months. So I think it may be running out of steam on both ends. Not only the bulls running out of steam, but the bears are running out of steam, which is why I said, if you're just joining at the beginning, this recent uptick that we had, that we could see on CoinMarketCap as well, this recent uptick that we had, little spike on Thursday, it kind of feels like we're being held down. Maybe the institutions aren't ready for us to go up on our next leg up. They want to continue to accumulate Bitcoin, and I advise my viewers and people, and not financial advice, but just dollar cost average in, accumulate Bitcoin while you can, and just hang on to it until it hits a price that you're comfortable with. Everybody's got to have a price in their head. If you don't have a price already in your head, you're going to mess up and then just keep hodling it until it falls back down. I know a lot of people are kicking themselves for not taking profits when it was at 69K last time. But it depends on your beliefs and your convictions in the crypto market. This title here says, don't ignore the M2 growth rate. The magnitude of the expected halving led uptrend has been and will continue to likely be a contingent on the major central banks, U.S. Federal Reserves, European Central Bank, Bank of Japan, and People's Bank of China, boasting their year-to-year M2 money supply growth rates. The aggregate M2 of the four major central banks represent the total value of their respective fiat currency circulating in the market. The previous posts having bull runs were characterized by 6% or higher aggregate M2 money supply growth of the Fed, ECB, BOJ, and PBOC. Meanwhile, bear markets coincide with the deceleration in the money supply growth rate. The pattern validates the popular argument that Bitcoin is a pure play on fiat liquidity. So the halving is good, but we definitely need that new influx of capital, of people willing to invest and get in the market. So we'll see. What's up, Black Cat Crypto? Dakota Miner, thank you for stopping by. Rud Puts, thank you for always sending me those wonderful Friday gifts. And I'm excited for football, by the way. You guys watched the Kansas City and the Lions game? I was excited by that. You know, Patrick Mahomes is Patrick Mahomes, great player. But it was nice to see that the Lions not being the usual Lions and stepping up to the plate. I really love it. We'll see how things go. So I actually made some adjustments over this past weekend, and inside the system that we have, interesting. I need to make some adjustments. Let's see, what else is there? Output. Okay, so you can't change that right now very fast. Huh, interesting. So this person, and I don't know if anybody's in Turkey, could you please let me know if you were using this exchange? But the boss of the failed cryptocurrency gets over 11,000 year sentence. Like, why would you do that? Like, he's not gonna be able to live that long. But it looks like on late Thursday, by a panel of judges in Turkey, Farouk, who I think had an exchange called Todex, was sentenced for over 11,000 years. The users of the exchange lost $2 billion worth of cryptocurrency when it barred them from withdrawing funds, according to the research from Chainalysis. So kind of like a pump and dump scam, but more like a pump and dump like exchange. Anybody from our families in Turkey that can share their experience in the comments or anything like that, or if they lost funds, you don't have to be providing too much information. Don't dox yourself. I'm just curious, because the crypto fam is all over the world, and I love it. We all communicate with one another. We talk with one another, share information, data. So it's always a sad day when some of the fam unfortunately get duped by some jackass. But yeah, moving on, the SEC counters Ripple in an effort to appeal groundbreaking XRP ruling. Again, there's an appeal. Doesn't mean it's going to go through, but, you know, I don't know. Gary Gensler just keeps putting a target on his head. But the SEC filed a response to Ripple memo, which was a victory. Again, a battle, not the war. It was won by XRP. And SEC is trying to argue against the opposite. As part of it is an ongoing case against the crypto communities closely affiliated with the XRP cryptocurrency, while Ripple argued last week that the SEC hadn't made a sufficient argument to warrant an appeal. Friday's filing pushed back forcefully. The defendants themselves say that the issues have industry-wide significance and are a special consequence. The SEC signaled its intent to appeal Judge Annalisa Torres' ruling in the U.S. District Court of Southern District of New York last month, asking the judge for permission soon after. The judge allowed the SEC to make its case, giving Ripple a September 1st deadline to present its opposition. Friday's filing is in response to Ripple's opposition memo. Looks like we have a quote here on the filing that says, well, it has in brackets, Judge Rakoff, what a name, did reject the court's legal conclusion that the existence of blind trading platform-based transactions precludes the application of the Howey as a matter of law under virtual identical facts. Sales of crypto assets by the issuer to the investors on the platform in blind bid-ask transactions, the filing said. So we'll see how things progress and move forward. That was on the 8th yesterday, Friday. So we'll see how things move forward. But Republican Tom Emmer sponsors amendment to limit SEC's crypto oversight, right? So they're kind of just going around with the hammer, right, and trying to fix things that you might need more precision tools with. And they definitely need to, curb it a little bit. If you have any questions, comments, otherwise, please send me a super chat or at me. Otherwise, I'm going to keep on rocking and rolling. The United States Representative Tom Emmer, Majority Whip of the United States House of Representatives, who has previously expressed concerns about the SEC's actions in cryptocurrency industry, sponsored Appropriations Amendment restricting the SEC's use of funds on digital asset enforcement on September 8th. Ooh. Meaning you're restricting their money to go after cryptocurrency? That's good. That's good. Go after the money. I like that. All right. Alleging he was overstepping his authority. Talk about Gary Gensler, which is negatively affecting American people. Elmer urged Congress to utilize its available methods and proper procedures to thwart any potential misuse of taxpayer funds by Gary Gensler and the SEC. Elmer has previously jointly sponsored several bills seeking to enhance regulatory transparency in the United States. I think this is the same guy that in that video, was trying to get Gary Gensler to confirm and to say for the court and on the record whether or not, Bitcoin or Ethereum was a security, blah, blah, blah. I think it was primarily Ethereum. So, the Appropriations Amendment will limit the SEC's utilization of funds for digital asset enforcement. So trying to limit the taxpayers' money going into the SEC that is being utilized for enforcement actions against the cryptocurrency industry. That's good. Whether or not it will go through is a different story. But the absence of cryptocurrency regulation has raised concerns about the SEC's substantial expenditures and legal disputes with numerous crypto entities, potentially weaponizing taxpayer funds, according to Elmer. The match Elmer introduced, the Blockchain Regulatory Certainty Act, which clarifies the blockchain developers and service providers are not considered money transmitters as they do not hold consumer funds in custody, right? The bill distinguishes between custody providers and non-custody providers, relieving the latter from unnecessary compliance burden that might hinder innovation in the United States, like mining. How do you expect the miners to know every transaction they're processing or every, person that's renting? I don't know. I don't know how you even can see that and discern what data is what, or how do you tie that address to that user? I know you can tie it with chain analysis, but we process transactions as a miner, whether it's an ASIC or GPU or whatever blockchain, so fast that it would be really difficult to do and automate it, but I'm not sure. This clarification ensures the validators, miners, and other non-custodial service providers are not categorized in the same way as custodial providers. Key figures in the blockchain sector, including Blockchain Association CEO Kristen Smith and Crypto Council CEO Shella Warren, expressed support for the proposed legislation. Elmer has also thrown his support behind Representative Warren Davidson's SEC Stabilization Act, which seeks to remove Gary Gensler from the position of SEC chair. Still going on. I know a lot of people are on crypto Twitter calling for Gary Gensler's head or for his job. Will it happen? Probably not. But the next presidency probably will. We'll see how things pan out. But while Ripple and everybody else is fighting, because right now, even during this bear market or during this situation when we're just moving sideways, there's no real excitement. We got projects focusing on building, which is good, right? You build during the bear market, and you focus on that, because if you're trying to release new stuff like Shiba Inu did, it's not going to get well received. Unfortunately, not during this uncertainty time, this fearful time. The fear and greed index is still around 35. It's been sitting there for days now. But you got other projects growing or trying to acquire, right? So while Ripple was dealing with the SEC, they buy, and crypto infrastructure startup in its second acquisition of 2023. Now, it's called Fortress Trust. And it's just a startup that specializes in crypto infrastructure. The deal will give Ripple a license in Nevada and allow it to expand beyond its core bread and butter. And in May, Ripple agreed to buy Medico, a Swiss provider of crypto custody services, for $250 million. So I'm interested to see how the Ripple team or the leadership continues to progress forward but I can't tell you with certainty that the actions they're taking is going to boost the project. We'll have to see how to utilize these mergers or these acquisitions to improve, maybe the XRP infrastructure for global bank payments, whatnot, and all that good stuff. So we'll have to just wait and see on how that goes. Good evening, or good morning, good afternoon, Red Panda Mining. Hope you're doing well. Thank you for stopping by. I hope you're going live today. If you're going live today, let me know, and we'll redirect towards you at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then Rapid Mining at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So, I don't know. Like, are you guys into XRP? Are you guys utilizing XRP? Or, like, you got a bag of XRP? I'm curious. I had some XRP back in the day. I sold it. And I don't really care too much for the project. I am excited or happy to see what they're doing, right? Challenging the regulators and the SEC, but the project isn't for me. Bitcoin is what's for me, right? I like Bitcoin. I like projects that are proof of work and are decentralized and support the miners. Ethereum used to support the miners until they left us for a better, more beautiful person, but it's whatever. We move on in life. So yeah, Parcell, a former CEO of Prime Trust, a crypto custodian, which shut down after BitGo abandoned a deal to acquire the firm. Ripple is mostly known for its role as cross-border payments firm. The company uses a blockchain-based messaging system akin to Swift to approve speedy transactions between the network banks and other financial institutions. Ripple partners include Brennan Mulder, Singapore's NAM, and Japan's SBI Remit. Sorry if I butchered those names. But long story short, Ripple's with MoneyGram. It's bridging gaps. It's partnering with different companies. It's trying to build its infrastructure. So we'll see how things go. So Gordon Murray says XRP holders just get dumped on by insiders. I would agree with that, but I don't know. I mean, Pepe Pal or Pepe is the same thing, right? Son of Rabbit Panda, the internet is better in Canada. Is the internet better than Canada? Red Panda Mining says, well, the name of the person that asked the question. Is the internet better in Canada? That's a good question. What is your speeds? MC, talking about XRP, says that they have a bag before the lawsuit when it was still on Coinbase and Stellar, XLM. So we'll see how things go, but Stellar and XRP are one of those assets that are working to kind of get into the banking sector, in the payment transfer or cross-border payments sector. Will it succeed? XRP and Stellar both have good foundational roots in the ecosystem, but we'll see how things go. Meanwhile, G20 leaders decide on swift implementation of crypto reporting framework, or CARF, which is a template that is being developed to make sure that such non-financial assets are not used by tax evaders to conceal their unaccounted wealth. Okay. Sorry, hang on one second. Seeing a significant number of member nations want information exchange on such non-financial assets to start. Okay, so they wanted to start by 2027. It's being developed to make sure that people aren't evading taxes and concealing their wealth. We've got a quote here. We'll call for swift implementation of the Crypto Asset Reporting Framework, or CARF, and amendment to the CRS. We asked the Global Forum on Transparency of Exchange of Information for tax purposes to identify an appropriate and coordinated timeline to commence exchanges by relevant jurisdictions, said the G20 leaders' declaration, which was also adopted by the consensus. The leaders of the 20 developing and developed nations have reaffirmed the commitment to continue cooperations towards a globally fair and sustainable modern international tax system appropriate to the needs of the 21st century. They say here, we remain committed to the swift implementation of the two-pillar international tax package. Significant progress has been made on Pillar 1, including the delivery of text of multilateral convention and work on Amount B, framework for a simplified and streamlined application of arm length principle to in-country baseline marketing and distribution activities, as well as the completion of work on the development of subject to tax rule under Pillar 2. Okay, so under the global tax deal, about 140 countries, including India, have agreed to overhaul the global tax norms to ensure that multinationals pay taxes where they operate and at the minimum of 15 cents per rate. However, some vexed issues still need to be ironed out about the implementation. The G20 countries called on the OECD to develop an inclusion framework to swiftly remove or resolve the few pending issues related to the MLC, with the view to preparing the MLC for signature in the second half of 2023, completing the work on Amount B by the end of 2023. So, they're trying to finalize things by the end of this year, maybe the earlier next year, but then some of the rulings or some of the things they called for should come out in 2027. Now, I would always urge people, and I've said this many of times if you're new to the channel, that you need to be interactive or involved in conversations regarding regulators and politicians and stuff like that, and just making sure that you're just in that conversation in some form or another. But the IMF, the FSB, the G20, a number of others are all things that I keep my eye on. Now, I'm not a economist or a politician or a regulator, but Coin Bureau does a really good job of breaking stuff down. So if you guys aren't following them, you should, because very informational, very good educational content, and just makes you aware of certain things, and sometimes can break it down in ways so that the average end user can better understand it. They do sometimes get a little bit technical, or at least whatever the financial terms for that type of language. But Fat F, right? I don't like some of the decisions that they're making. I don't like some of the rulings that they're making. It needs some polishing for sure, but we'll see how things pan out in the long run. But usually, like, for example, the IMF or the Fat F have that sway over in the North America countries. So some of those rulings that you think may not come to your country may actually, or some of those policy adjustments or regulations that you may not think will come to your country may come to your country after all. Caspa is my largest bag, says Gordon Murray. If I'm mining something profitable, I'm selling it for Caspa. Red Panda says they're just coming in to say hi. Off to bed now. It's 10:31 p.m. where I am. Good night, gentlemen. Oh, it is nighttime where they're at. So they're not going live. But I think I did see Rabbit Mining is going live at 1 p.m. Me and the wife got some stuff to go do. She's off today. So you can hang out or wait for Rabbit Mining after we get off the air at 12 p.m. If you're stopping by, please smash that like button. And good luck, Red Panda Mining. Get some rest. We'll see you guys later on. Blanket crypto bans won't work, says the IMF and FSB, as they warn in a joint paper. Coin Bureau once again did a great job talking about this as well. But it's true. Blanket bans won't work. China, I wouldn't say that they did a blanket ban, but they did do, I got a headache. Oh my goodness. They did do, a ban on crypto mining. And now they're becoming more open to crypto in general. But blanket bans won't suffice. So they have to rethink of what's going on. The IMF and the FSB synthesized paper is set to be presented at the G20 this weekend, and it's part of a series of efforts by international bodies to introduce global norms to the industry, particularly following the numerous crypto enterprise collapses of 2022. To tackle macroeconomic risks from crypto, the report says the jurisdictions should strengthen monetary policy frameworks, guard against excessive capital flow volatility, and adopt ambiguous tax treatment of crypto. Thursday's report reiterated the IMF stance that the crypto blanket bans may not help in mitigating associated risk, and added that targeted restrictions might come in handy for emerging economies in particular. Countries like India have raised concerns about the enhanced threat from widespread crypto use to monetary policy in emerging economies, and has called or have called for policy bodies to recommend stronger prohibitions of addresses to those specific concerns. Restrictions should not substitute for robust macroeconomic policies, credible institution frameworks, and comprehensive regulation and oversight, which are the first line of defense against the macroeconomic and financial risk posed by crypto assets. Some jurisdictions, in particular emerging markets, are developing economies, what they refer to as EMDEs, may want to take additional targeted measures that go beyond the global regulatory baseline to address specific risks. The IMF and SSB roadmap address another concern of G20 countries, which are crypto stabilized against the value of other assets or currencies, threatening currency replacement or bank runs in emerging economies. Rapid capital flight or reversals could materialize if the foreign currency denominated stablecoins became easier and cheaper to hold in large quantities relative to the foreign currency's bank. Right, so they're threatened by stablecoins, and there's a lot of talk about stablecoins and regulating such stablecoin markets from the FATF, from the IMF, from the G20. So all of this is being worked in, and we may start seeing the impacts of all this into 2027. This is the same article talking about it. We see linking implications to responses, macroeconomic stability, safeguard monetary and sovereignty and stability, guard against excessive capital flow volatility, address fiscal risk and adoption ambiguous tax treatment, monitor the impact of crypto assets on IMS, financial stability implications and regulatory issues, adopt the FSB, of course, adopt what they say, high-level recommendations for crypto assets, the GSCs, and relevant SSB standards, consider targeted measures if appropriate. Other, legal, financial integrity, market integrity, environmental risk. Confirm legal treatment and provide clear guidance, which we're still waiting on, and implement and enforce FATF standards, address market integrity issues. I mean, there's definitely an integrity issue, right? The whole Terra Luna and FTX situation is what's causing all this to happen, and what this serious regulation that's going to be shoved down our throats to happen. So it's definitely needed, but we'll see. MC Presidential Palu, oh, I'm sorry if I'm saying that wrong, had podcast about cryptocurrency a few days ago. Have you seen it? No, I have not. Not that I'm going to play it during this show, but just want to check it out. Having been dependent on our tourism, we really suffered financially with the pandemic. Leaning into blockchain, starting with this partnership, seemed like a natural step for us. So, President talks plans following island nation's digital residency rollout. Okay. So this is a 20,000 person country and turning to blockchain to revamp its economy. They partnered with Cryptic Labs to launch the world's first digital residency program. The program uses Cryptic Labs' root name system or RNS technology, allowing anyone from around the world to apply. Once approved, users will be issued a non-fungible token or NFT of their digital residence ID cards. Nice. Giving them access to Palu-based perks like shipping services and physical address. But that's not all the island has in store. Okay, cool. Having been dependent upon tourism, they really suffered during the pandemic, says the president. Leaning into the blockchain started with this partnership seemed like a natural step for us. The partnership is just the first blockchain-related venture WIPS has planned for the island nation in the coming years. He said, citing that other countries like Singapore and El Salvador have been able to diversify their economies with a digital-first approach. Sorry, guys, I got a horrible pain in my right side here. While working on having a crypto exchange here, we're working on a stablecoin. We're working on a corporate registry. Also on the agenda for the citizens are digital wallets for every resident. Whip said he has already signed a memorandum of understanding (MOU) with crypto payments firm Ripple to make it happen. Okay, cool. All right, that's actually pretty cool. I do like the digital ID thing. Residential digital ID cards. That's pretty cool. Once the challenges that have been, once one of the challenges that we have in, I think it's Palu. It's hard to get pennies. It's hard to get quarters. Whip says cash shortages are a real thing here. So what digital wallets would really provide is freedom from having to go to the bank. I could see a smaller place, location, country, island, making use of that and actually be a benefit. That's really cool. Thanks for sharing that. MC. Appreciate you. All right, so Son of Rabbit Panda says, however, yes, I do get insight into crypto world from you. Oh, no problem. I like Coin Bureau. I really like Coin Bureau. But I try to provide some form of education. If you like this content, please, comment, hit the like button. Doesn't get a lot of views, but as long as I am entertaining enough to get your attention, or at least education enough. I'm not always entertaining. Like right now, I'm just not. I got a horrible headache, and me and the wife got to go get some shit done as soon as we're done with this. So, I don't know. I just woke up with a horrible headache today. I wonder. I gotta hit up Red, see where he's at. Drink water, yeah. It could be. But I just woke up literally before the stream. I'm so tired. Cyber criminals weaponize legitimate advanced installer tool in crypto mining attacks. Now, I haven't looked into this. I think I'm going to do a deeper dive into what exactly happened here. We got a diagram here of the attack method. A legitimate Windows tool used for creating software packages called Advanced Installer is being abused by threat actors to drop cryptocurrency mounting malware on infected machines since at least November 2021. The attacker uses the Advanced Installer to package. Oh, we've seen this before. Yeah, I know about this, but why are we talking about it now? The package and other. So basically, it bundles up with actual legitimate software installers such as Adobe Illustrator. Yep, I've seen it on the Autodesk applications. SketchUp Pro with malicious scripts and uses Advanced Installer custom actions feature to make the software installers execute malicious scripts. Cisco Talos researcher mentioned in a technical report. The nature of the application Trojanized indicates that the victims likely span architecture, engineering, construction, manufacturing, and entertainment sector. The software installers predominantly use the French language, a sign that French-speaking users are being singled out. This campaign, maybe the hacker or whoever is doing the recent implementation of this attack vector is maybe just French-speaking. Who knows? This campaign is strategic in these industries relying on computers with high graphics processor units or GPUs. Power for their day-to-day operations, making it lucrative targets for the crypto jacking. Hey, if you're not paying the power bill and you're crypto jack or you're jacking somebody else's system and mining for you, then don't come at no cost. But it's still illegal. You be careful. You're gonna get caught, even though many of you don't. But anyways. Cisco analysts of DNS request data sent to the attacker's infrastructure shows that the victimology footprint spans France, Switzerland, followed by sporadic infections in the U.S., Canada, Algeria, Sweden, Germany, Tanzania, Madagascar, Singapore, Vietnam. So it's all over the place. That attack cumulate in the deployment of the M3 Mini Rat, a PowerShell script that likely acts as a backdoor to download the executable additional threats, as well as multiple crypto mining malware families in the Phoenix Miner and LOL Miner. So it's not crypto mining malware families. The miner is not malware. How it's implemented is the malware. This is the malware. Now, Phoenix Miner is outdated, so maybe somebody customized it, right? Like maybe somebody forked it and then customized it, so maybe there is some malicious code in there for execution. But long story short, once you got the miner installed, it's just a matter of executing commands, and you can automate. You can run scripts and automate those commands. So yeah, I don't know why this is all of a sudden like coming back in the news for some reason. We know what Phoenix Miner is. We know what LOL Miner is. Because Phoenix Miner isn't being updated, I definitely could see that being manipulated after the fact. I don't understand why this is becoming big news again. That doesn't make any sense. That's been around. Crypto whale loses 24 million in staked Ethereum to phishing attack. Last week we saw a YouTuber. We talked about a YouTuber in one of our Spanish countries who accidentally showed their private keys on stream, immediately disabled the stream, but it was too late. The person stole that money. Now, they did get most of their funds back, if not all of it. But, yeah. Unfortunately, a whale of all things, a whale. Like, if you're a whale and you got 24 million, you should have, like, a multi-sig wallet where you can't, like, complete transactions without, you know, having other people sign off on a thing. So SerpentX Tech, how many stable coins do you really need? Says Black Cat Crypto. I don't need any. Really USDT because it's freaking everywhere. Tron, Polygon, Ethereum, USDC. I really like USDC. I don't like Tether. Tether's been on the radar for a bunch of bad things. USDT. USDC is not exactly an angel itself. I don't care for BUSD or DAI, DAI, but I know a lot of people use it. So really, you only need like a handful anyway. So it really doesn't matter. What's up, Hobbyist Miner? Thank you for stopping by. I don't know why you're not a moderator, but I'm gonna add you as a moderator. But yeah, unfortunately, we got a whale that fell victim to a massive phishing attack, losing millions of dollars in Ethereum. The investor lost their entire balance of Lido State ETH or STETH and Rocket Pool ETH or RETH on September 6th. The cryptocurrency security firm PeckShield reported the hack was completed in just 2 transactions, with 9,579 STETH stolen in one and 4,851 stolen in another. At the time of the attack, the amount stolen was worth 15.5 million in STETH and 8.5 million in RETH, a staggering 24 million combined. According to PeckShield, the phisher subsequently swapped the assets for 13,785 ETH and 101.6 more million in DAI. A significant portion of DAI stash has already been transferred into the fully automatic cryptocurrency exchange Fixed Float, PeckShield reported. So it looks like they got a tracking team on it called Slow Mist. Reported that most of the remaining stolen funds were transferred to 3 addresses. According to the anti-scam source scam sniffer, the victim enabled token approvals to the scammer by signing its increased allowance actions. Oh my god. Okay, let's see if I have it somewhere. Bear with me 1 second. Where is it at? There is a way to withdraw your permission on a transaction. I have to find it. I don't know where it is, but there is a way to withdraw your permissions or to revoke, so to speak, your permissions on a transaction. Wow. Allowances or access permissions are a feature of ERC20 tokens that enable third party to have the right to spend some tokens that belong to a different owner. Using smart contracts, some cryptocurrency observers have warned against risks associated with approving ERC20 allowances, noting that the anonymous developer could deploy malicious smart contract to scam users. Why would you even do this? So let me explain something to you. For example, Gala. When Gala upgraded and it switched over, right? A lot of people were able to get their money out, but not everybody was because there's no liquidity, right? So when you go to try to swap that old gala for whatever, Ethereum or whatever, you have to basically approve to spend the allowance or the amount that you're trying to sell, right? But because there's no liquidity, what you're doing is you're approving that if liquidity does come back, you can process this transaction. That's when I've seen that mostly used. However, in this case, the culprit got the owner to increase the allowances so that way they could send or spend the whale's money. With, I don't know why the whale fell for that, but they did. The news comes shortly after 5 Ethereum liquid stake providers, Rocket, Stake Poolwise, blah, 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 imposed or started working on imposing a self-limit rule to which they promised not to own more than 22% of Ethereum's staking market. I don't know what that has to do with the price of tea in China, but yeah, sucks to be them. So right now, mining profitability, let's take a quick look. We're at Mine the ASIC. Go check them out. At 10 cents per kilowatt hour right now, you know, the Ice Rivers, the Bitmains, the KS3s, the KS2s, 1s, 2s, M's, Z's, B's, all looking pretty good, ranging anywhere from $30 a day to $250 a day. I know a lot of people out there are hashing away with their new Casper miners. The Greater Good, Red Panda Mining, a number of others. Congratulations on those who got those miners. Unfortunately, the KS0 has fell quite far. You know, is only around $2.91 a day, or almost 80 Casper a day. But the dominance of the Casper miners is apparent. Casper right now should be around 3.8 cents, somewhere in there. And has not really picked up much since, but it is holding stable compared to the rest of the regular, regular cryptocurrency markets. After that, you got the Jazz Miner X16-P that we featured on Mining Disrupt content. And I talked to the people over for Jingle Mining. It's 5.8 gigahash and 1900 watts, and that's earning you about $13.34 a day. The X16Q, which is number 11 today on Mine the ASIC, is only earning you about $4.53, and it's less than $3,000 if you wanted to buy that. It does dual mine, ETH hash, ZIL, or ETC hash, ZIL, whatever you want. But the X16-Q is quieter than the X16-P. And you can go check out our content creators like Rabbit Mining or Chump Change and others who have showed off this hardware and taken a deeper dive if you're interested in it. But let's go end the poll and see what most of you are mining with. Yeah, I know about Gemini. I don't care too much for it. So the poll says 44% GPUs, 44% a mix of all. 5% ASICs, 5% FPGAs, and that's with 40 votes. So basically what the point here is that because of the Ethereum merge, which by the way, we are having a meeting on September 30th around 3 p.m. So I may not have a Caffeine and Crypto at 11 a.m. that Saturday, so I can prepare for the meeting at 3 p.m. But it depends, so just bear with me. Make sure you follow me on Twitter and get subscribed and hit the notification bell. But on September 30th at 3 p.m., after Cypherpunk, which I hope you have a really great time, I'm going to be having Voscoin, BBT Carter, or Bitsby Trippin', Son of a Tech, and myself in a quick meeting, 1 hour meeting, about how crypto has changed since the Ethereum merge. Now, I do plan on having a more expansive meeting with some of the other content creators and crypto mining educators out there. So stay tuned. Again, follow me on Twitter and get subscribed to stay up to date. But I want to focus on these guys because we've been in the space longer than most. Unfortunately, may not have the highest subscriber count or the highest following or the highest viewer count, but been around the scene for a long time and got to see, obviously, Voscoin is talked about a lot of different projects. Some projects are not even around anymore. Some projects are, right? The mining shed. right? Son of a Tech does have a farm. There's been some transition periods where they had to shut down the farm and reopen the farm. I want to get the latest update, and I want to see how the Ethereum merge has impacted them. So stay tuned for that. I look forward to having you guys, and I will be trying to accumulate questions while we go through that stream, and then we'll address them more towards the end of the stream unless it's absolutely a good point that we need to address right at that time. So I won't be able to be as interactive because I want the gentleman to lead, and I want to ask them questions and hear their responses. But write down your questions, and we'll get to it as soon as we can. Super chats will go first. And then, the ats will be addressed, and all the important questions, all the questions that I feel is the most relevant and appropriate, right? Because we know sometimes some inappropriate people come in here and say some silliness. Not that it's bad. I love silliness, but we're going to hold those off to the end, address on the super chats first for the questions for the guys, and go from there. So stay tuned. September 30th, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Fosscoin, Bits Be Trippin', Son of a Tech, and myself. But the point is since the merge, it's really changed a lot. It's really changed a lot. So we're having to adapt. We're having to adjust. We're having to overcome. And I believe that GPU mining will come back one day. It's just right now is not that day. I mean, if we look at the charts here, making 20 cents, 17 cents, 10 cents a day in fiat value is the best we can do. Unfortunately. But, back in the day, it was glorious. Will there be that one coin to take over that throne from Ethereum and become that uplifting GPU mining is back, baby coin? We'll have to wait and see. But right now, the most profitable GPUs are looking like the 40 series or the 6000 series from an AMD. And that's only because I don't think the 7000 series has any data. Like if we look at the 6800 XT, right? They got all these coins you can mine. But if we go look at the 7900 XT, it doesn't have that many coins. And I post all my data online. Well, it has them. It just doesn't have all of it. Like, where's Meowcoin? I don't see any to Kapow. It's like they just ignore Kapow and did ProgPow coin. So, hashrate.no, though, has a pretty good website as far as information and data. But that's pretty much today's stream. If you have any last-minute questions, comments, concerns, please post it real quick because we're getting out of here. And I thank you so much for stopping by. Please do me a favor on the way out. Hit the like button. Make sure to get subscribed. Hit the notification bell to stay up to date, as well as check out links in the description that will support the channel and what we do here. And don't forget, you got 13 days to enter the Gleam.io giveaway to win the Asus ROG Strix RTX 3060, okay? And just keep hashing. Keep your head down. And dollar cost average and accumulate the assets that you believe and have the strongest conviction, okay? Full spec mining sits Gordon Murray. I'm getting solo blocks on Ethereum with my GPUs. Good job. I've been playing around with Ethereum as well. I'm actually only mining on CPUs and phones. So versus coin. Yeah. Versus, Retro Mike was one of the first to do a video on it, but a number of the other colleagues have as well. JSON Mining says they're stacking Dynex. And Techman says ProgPow and Kapow numbers will be similar, which it is true, right? So, but it would still be nice hashrate.no to add, just FYI. I think it would be, right? If you're gonna have, you want the same coins that you're gonna have for like the 6000 series for the 7000 series. So, anyways, all right, guys, you take care. Have yourself a wonderful day, and I will catch you in the next one.